for our Board of Trustees meeting, May 8th, 2018. I'd like to take a motion to close the executive session and open the public meeting. Trustee Nell, second. Trustee Taylor, all in favor? Great. I will do the Pledge of Allegiance if you join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Trustee Sullivan will do the prayer this evening.
I thought in honor of today being Teacher Appreciation Day and Sunday being Mother's Day, it was only right to give thanks to our mothers and teachers. So a teacher and a mother is a listener, an encourager, a leader, an example, a friend. A teacher and a mother is an everyday hero who opens doors, plants dreams, touches hearts, and changes lives forever. So God bless all the mothers and teachers this week.
I'd also, just for a second, like to mention Bill O'Connor. Bill O'Connor, I see our current chief here. Bill O'Connor was chief of the fire department, was a 50-year member of the Dobbs Ferry Fire Department, passed away recently. He was also a former trustee, did a lot for the village. I have a tremendous respect for our volunteers and the brave men and women that volunteer on our fire department. So I'd like to have a moment of silence for Bill. Okay, so this is a continuation, right, Darius, of the
Yes.
public hearing? So do I need to make a?
Yes.
Okay, so do I have a motion to open the public hearing for the purpose of considering amending the parking regulations on Stanley Avenue? Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee DeRossi, all in favor? Unanimous. Does anybody want to address the board on the parking on Stanley Avenue? Do we have anybody here? And just a little explanation here, I guess. At one point, we have the room for 18 spaces, Charlene?
Yes, that's
On
true, 18 or
Stanley?
19, I think.
18 or 19. So there's sort of been a compromise. And I think on the north end, we would put 9 spaces. And on the south end of Stanley, we would have no spaces there. Is
I
that-
believe that's correct,
okay.
yes. It was the solution that our traffic engineer, Phil Greeley,
Okay.
came up with.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. Mayor, and that's how we renoticed the hearing, so everyone could see that. And now it's very specific, the number of feet, so that's exactly what will happen now.
Is
If
there-
you're inclined to adopt it.
Okay. Any other discussion?
We put it over last time, I'm sorry, Donna, we put it over last time for us to also look at the past board meetings and to look at what the rationale was before we addressed it tonight, is that right?
In the video.
Yeah, I looked at the video.
So did I,
Yes, I also did.
It didn't seem to change.
My understanding of the video was that it was a pilot program at that point, and it was up, to see what happens, and to revisit it. And in truth, it's really a new world out there, because when it was first proposed as a pilot program to get rid of everything, nothing was there, bless you. The sidewalk, et cetera, wasn't, reconstituted. So I think that this is really, even based on whatever was said at the last hearing, and when was that, 2011 or something?
yeah.
That you can look at this anew and decide where you're going with it.
Yeah, I think the sidewalk was an issue because of the safety of people, where they get out, et cetera, so.
I do agree that there has to be crosswalks and it
Yeah,
has to be
that's, I
properly
was gonna
signed.
say, the traffic committee did look at this, and they're fine with the compromise of the 9 spaces. They did recommend and request that we put in 3 crosswalks because of the amount of people crossing there. Make sure that the bike path is marked that is a shared, that the sidewalk is a shared pathway.
Yes.
It's for pedestrians, and that there's a ramp that, and I think they did put a ramp in there, yeah. And they were also in favor of having meters there, but they also realized that there are issues with having meters down there. But they also would also like to recommend that if meters are put on Stanley, that we also look at putting them in on our spaces on Hamilton.
Well, yeah, I'm still against even this compromise. I don't think there should be any parking out there, so if we're gonna go, well, everybody can go.
If we go for a vote,
What's your basis for that, Benny?
With the parking lot already there, I don't see why we would have parking across the street from Brooklyn Market. And I know there's gonna be crosswalks, but I just don't see why we'd have people opening their doors or even trying to bring packages into their car. They're gonna cross the street, traffic's gonna go by. I just
Why?
think, why create that kind of a situation when they have a parking lot? I don't think there's any need for any parking spots.
well, I thought that those spaces, though, were more for the people going eventually to Chauncey Park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
part
so.
of it, yeah.
I still think the spots, even above Brooklyn Market, will be enough people could park there and then go to the
Yeah.
park. That's just my personal opinion about it, but.
I think it's just a longer walk around.
And isn't it, when you add the parking spots, doesn't that slow traffic? That's like,
Yeah.
when
Yeah,
you
the
have
slow
The
parallel
narrower the
parking.
lane, the slower the
Right.
traffic goes, yeah.
So it's, could be a good thing too, to have some.
Well, are we ready to take a vote?
I am.
All right,
Let's take a motion to close the public hearing, if there's no
Thanks.
public comment.
So we'll take a motion to close the public hearing. Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Rosillo, all in favor? So we need a motion to take a,
You take a motion to adopt the local law as noticed.
okay. So we'll take a motion to adopt the local law as noted here.
Someone's gotta make a
Oh.
motion.
Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Deputy Mayor Nell, all in favor? Okay.
Count it.
What, count it?
Is it,
Count
And
it.
against?
count it. There's 4, is how many are for it?
How many are for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You got your form.
Against?
We got
Against?
one against,
Oh, nice. Who's against?
one against,
Okay.
and one,
You abstaining?
Abstaining.
Are you voting?
do you want to vote?
I have mixed feelings about it because I understand and kind of agree with some of the concerns that Vincent has because there is plenty of parking in Rivertown Square. But at the same time, I do see that when the park is open, the convenience of having those parkings in there might be of some use. But I've been there, I have parked in there, I know that I have to cross the street on the market, so I can see Vincent's point.
I mean, you know, when you,
Does that mean you're gonna vote with Vincent or no?
It doesn't really matter if I
vote
vote, they
against
still
it.
be.
It matters, you
Go
have to have a
on record for
record,
it.
you have to have a record.
Well, I'm voting with Vincent.
Okay, so there's 2 against.
go ahead, Charlene.
Prior to take, Darius, is this, it's noticed as the Phil Greeley?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're not again?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, we did
great,
it again.
thank you,
Wasn't
just
that
wanted to
again?
make sure.
Yep.
Okay,
So the vote's 5-2.
5-2.
And I would make the observation that I think we should be open to changing it
Oh,
if it appears
absolutely.
that it
If there's an
is
issue.
not working or ought to be done differently.
Great. Okay, so we have a presentation, Nina Orville, by the Sustainable Westchester on community choice aggregation. Right, thank you, Nina.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm just going to say a few words before I introduce the folks from Sustainable Westchester who are here to do the presentation for you tonight. So community choice aggregation is a program to facilitate the use of clean energy in Westchester County. And it also, as you'll hear, provides some other benefits in terms of reducing the volatility of energy prices and in many circumstances Walsh and Jasmine Graham. And the Sustainability Task Force strongly recommends that the Village of Dobbs Ferry consider joining this program. In fact, in an action plan which was adopted last year in September, under the Built Environment and Energy section, joining this program was the top recommendation that we had, and specifically considering joining with the green energy option being the default option. So we're going to hear about what that means, but this is something that the Sustainability Task Force is very supportive of, and we feel it will really advance our goals in terms of bringing more clean energy to the community and to New York overall. So, Dan,
What is out front in communicating with a lot of communities and worked on this presentation?
this is Jasmine Graham from Sustainable Westchester.
Good evening, Stephanie.
I am just going to cue up the presentation. All right, so my name is Jasmine. I'm here from Westchester Power and Sustainable Westchester. I want to start by saying thank you for being members of Sustainable Westchester. And I'm proud to say that we were recently certified as a Westchester Green business. So as you know, Sustainable Westchester is tasked with creating programs that help municipalities be more environmentally sustainable in an economically efficient way. So we have our big success story is the Clean Transportation Program, which helps people buy electric vehicles at a discount. The Solarize program, Tina Orville's done an amazing job with. We just launched our first community solar project up in Montrose, and also our up-and-coming waste and recycling program. But today we're here to talk about Westchester Power. And Westchester Power is essentially a community-based bulk purchasing program for electricity. This is also known as Community Voice Aggregation, or CCA. And just to give you a bit of context, right now your electricity bill is split into two parts, delivery and supply. And if you're with you can be with Con Edison for both supply and delivery, but for over a decade you've been able to go out and choose your own electricity supplier. However, not many people have actually gone out and done that for a couple of reasons. Energy supply companies are kind of known at this point for using some shady tactics. So you might have heard of slamming, where you get a phone call and they tell you, hey, give us your Con Ed account number and we can compare your rate. And you talk to them for a while, and then at the end of the conversation they say, so are you interested in joining the program? And you say, yeah, I'm interested. And that's enough, because they already have your Con Ed account number, that's enough to enroll you. But more frequently, ESCOs or energy supply companies will offer you a really low rate for maybe 6 months or a year, and then after the fact, you go on month-to-month billing and your price skyrockets. So what may have started at 8 cents per kilowatt hour ends up being 13.5 or 14 cents. So we created this program in order to have a safe way to enter the energy market, and our large collective our large buying power allows us to get competitive rates. So right now, there's 21 municipalities in the program, members that are in the program, and that's about 100,000 residents. So we're able to secure lower rates because we have so many customers. And the great part about this is that we get to set the criteria. So we originally knew that we wanted 2 supply options, a basic supply, which was the cheapest option, and it's largely non-renewable energy, fossil fuels, coal, oil, gas, nuclear, and a little bit of renewable. And then a green supply, which is 100% wind power, and that's backed by renewable energy certificates. So the village gets to choose what the default supply is, but any individual has the ability to choose either or. We also get to set the criteria in terms of pricing. So when we first started, we knew that we wanted a fixed rate. We knew that we wanted a fixed rate so that it could protect against some of the volatility of the Con Ed prices. on the day that your meter is read, whatever the market price for electricity on that day is what you pay, which is a pretty crazy system in my opinion. So we were able to tell energy suppliers that we would not accept any contract unless they brought us a rate that was lower than the previous 12-month average. So because this program started in April 2016, that is a rate that is lower than the 12-month average between April 2015 and April 2016. So here we are in 2018 and we still have those rates. So the Con Ed rate, as you can see, is variable and fluctuates really greatly. We're pleased that our rates have performed favorably. Among the Con Ed residential accounts, that we've saved about $10 million in the aggregate. That equals out to about $133 per account. And so when the program started, the basic rate was 7.38 cents per kilowatt hour, and the green rate was 7.68 cents per kilowatt hour. So that's 0.3 cent difference. So even, if you're in the green rate, you're still saving money, and it's probably no more than a couple of dollars on your bill. And then the spike that you see in May of last year is a New York State surcharge known as a ZEC, or zero emissions charge, which is essentially a bailout for the nuclear companies up north. So whether or not you were in the program, whether you were with UNESCO or with Con Edison, everybody had a 0.0032 increase. So that just explains that. On the commercial side, you can see that in the past few months, Con Ed rates have dropped pretty significantly for the commercial accounts. However, we are happy that overall we're pretty much in the black, haven't saved money, haven't lost money, or too much money, with each commercial account losing about $3 over the course of 2 years. But in the aggregate, we offset over 216,000 tons of CO2. We served over 1 billion kilowatt hours and saved over $9 million. At this point, that's closer to 10 or 11. So, if we were to go in what changes and what remains the same for the residents, is one of the biggest questions that we get asked. So, what changes is only your electricity supplier. So, on your bill, on the supply portion, you would see the supplier in our program currently, that's Constellation, and you would have a fixed rate and a renewable energy option. But billing and delivery remain the same, and they remain the responsibility of Con Edison. So you still receive one bill, you still only pay Con Ed, and if you have a blackout or any kind of interruption in your service, you still call Con Ed because they own the wires and the grid and all of the infrastructure that your electricity comes through. The other big question that we get is, how does program enrollment work for individuals? So, in order to ensure a large enough purchasing group and to secure low rates, community choice aggregation, or CCAs, are structured as opt-out programs. So this means that every eligible participant will receive a notification letter telling them that they'll be enrolled in the program unless they opt out. So that letter tells them which energy supply the village chose, what the default is, and also the prices and how to switch to the other supply option if they'd like, and then how to opt out if you don't want to be enrolled. We make it really easy for you. It comes with a postcard that you can just sign and send back and you're done, or you can call our office, it takes less than 2 minutes, or you can do it yourself by going to westchesterpower.org. And so there's a lot of program benefits. At the end of the day, we're a reliable, vetted program, we're a municipal program who's bringing competitive, stable, fixed rates for people to get an affordable green power option. We make it easy for people, but most of all, and what kind of sets us apart from the rest is our local presence and community service. So I'm from Irvington, our program director in the back, Dan Welsh is from Lewisboro, and the other people in our office are from Bedford and Cortland and Chappaqua, so we're all Westchester residents, and when you call, you're going to get one of the 5 of us. So people call every day, of course, asking questions about the program, but get it on the books so that if you do want to join, you can do so. Up next is outreach. So the Public Service Commission, who oversees us, requires 2 months of outreach in every community, although it's really continuous. But the two months of outreach can include information sessions at the library or the senior center, information on your website, tabling in local community events, putting out informational handouts in public places. So we're really flexible and we're happy to work with you to find out what's best to reach your residents and engage people in that kind of public education. And once we do that, we submit a package to the Public Service Commission, which has a record of all of that outreach, a certified local law, and also a draft of the notification letter that residents would get once they're enrolled. Once you're approved by the PSC, you can go ahead, sign the contract, and then just data transfers begin between Con Ed and the supplier, and after a couple weeks, the notification letters will go out. Like I said before, there's an opt-out period, so it's 30 days. People have a full 30 days to decide whether or not they want to be in the program, and at the end of that 30 days, everyone starts to get enrolled if you chose to stay in the program. Overall, that's about 35 days, because we even let a couple days pass in the beginning for the letter to actually get to you, and then you have 30 days. So just for your information, this is the timeline for Ardsley, who's joining right now. We actually just submitted the local approval to the Public Service Commission today. Although it's a little hard to see, their residents and small businesses don't actually get enrolled until August. So at this point, we're not really trying to slide any more towns into the existing contract. We want to position people to move ahead and be in the future contract. So we could start today as the beginning of outreach and work with you over the next couple of months to get out in front of residents and keep teaching people about the CCA. But at this point, the only thing that we're really asking is for you to get that local law in the books. Because we'll be going out for new bids for the contract renewal in the fall. So,
Great, thank you, Stephanie. Did you want to have your team stand up, so Dan is back here?
Yeah, that timeline there, and in a sense, confusing because this is based for a community that joined up now and already done 2 months of outreach. And since the Con Ed contract will renew at the end of this year, if we were to do the same thing, which has a lot of benefits because you know the price now and the slide right here, but if we were to go through that same process, then you roll in, maybe October, and then we'll be renewing already, so folks will get another letter within a couple of months. So I think that's just a little too confusing for people. But the good news is, on the timeline based on joining into renewal, we've got pretty much the summer to at our convenience, engage in this outreach, participate in local events, as you guys see fit. So I think it'll make that process easy for us all.
Now, I have a question. I know it's an opt-out program, so everybody's signed up unless they opt out. What if, as an individual, 3-4 months into it, you decide you don't want it anymore? Can you still opt out?
Yes.
So you can opt out at any time?
Right, there's no fee to opt out or come back.
you could leave the program, you could come back in, leave again, come back in. It just
Okay.
takes between 1 and 2 billing cycles for it to be reflected, so, you might not want to, but we've had people switch back and forth between the basic supply, the green supply, leave the program, their Con Ed bill was too high, and come back a month later, so it's completely flexible.
And the rates have been consistently less than Con Ed normally? The bill-
Not consistently less, so Con Ed's rates are variable. These are monthly averages, but it really depends on your actual meter read date. So sometimes if your meter read date is in the beginning of the month or the end of the month, you might be higher or lower than what is shown here.
The key is over the length of the program. On any given month, you'll be ahead or behind. So at the beginning of the program, maybe we were behind enough where people, oh my God, this is like, but on the whole, it averages out, and the rates have performed very well on average.
If you're bidding a new contract for power this fall, what is the outlook, or is there an outlook for what the rates are going to look like relative to the historical rates over these 2 years?
Yeah, that's a great question, and You know, we can't say that we have any special prognostication tools or capabilities, or that we would even trust them if we did. I think we're gonna have to get together with all the communities and come up with the criteria for this next bid. And we were chatting about this afternoon, and I said, you know, if I were to have to do it today, I might say, let's just try to beat today's rates. Because these rates are based on 2015 now that we have today. They were actually based on the 12 months prior to the 2016 launch. So what you're doing in setting the criteria is basically it's kind of a go, no-go switch. And you're saying if it goes higher than that, then we're not going to go ahead with this contract. Well, you know, you go out for bids, you try to do as low as you can, but that would be your ceiling. So we have to decide what that ceiling is. And as I say, if I were to put out a number today, I'd say if you could lock in the 2015 rates today and keep this level today, that might be a good place to set. But we have to get consensus from participating communities on that. And also, we want to look again at our product offerings. When we started, we had to get 100,000 customers into this program effectively in a reliable way. So we went with standard power plus the purchase of renewable energy certificates. That's something you could do, reliably and easily. But there are deeper green type products that we can consider as an additional option. So we want to look at what's new in the market today and also get a consensus on that. So that'll be happening over the next couple of months.
If we moved forward with this, we would have to pick green or basic, no?
So you choose
Or-
the default. So right now, 15 out of 21 towns have chosen the green rate as the default. So when people get the letter, it lets
And then
us
they
know
get to
that
choose.
they'll be enrolled in that. But as an individual, everyone has the ability to choose. So as Dan said, when we were talking today, we thought, maybe we'll have a green option like these renewable energy certificates that we're using right now. Maybe a deeper green option like New York State Hydro, and then the town could choose between green or deeper green, but an individual would still have the ability to opt to basic. So, it's flexible, but the town chooses the default overall.
And if they don't think to choose, they just get the default, which is what we picked.
The individuals, yes.
Right.
That's right.
So the contract's out for 1 full year.
The first contract was 2 years or 24 months with an option for an 8-month extension, so it would have ended in May, but the rates were performing favorably, so we took it out to the end of the year, and it's December 31st now. We don't have the contract criteria for the next contract, but we'll have those terms, over the next couple months, and around July, we'll have a better understanding of what the specific criteria will be for the next contract.
I guess it would still be a 2 or 3 year contract. I understand that maybe longer than that is hard for the suppliers to hedge, which is what they do when they go along.
And based on the inconsistency there from time to time, it's difficult to predict what would be a possible increase, if any, correct?
That's right. And I wouldn't venture to play commodities person here, other than to tell you that actually the energy prices haven't actually been flat over the life of this contract so far, in large part because of cheap fracked gas coming to electric power plants. So even with that, we've eked out a modest, savings. And I would say, don't go buy on what I say, but I'd say it has to, these are commodities, long term, they eventually go up. So it's been flat for a few years, probably gonna go up.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Dan, Stephanie, thank you very much. Very interesting. And I know, I've known Nina or Bill for quite a long time. And you have a great endorsement there, Nina. Everything she's brought forward to the village has been an outstanding success, so.
Good. So, please consider, and if, let us know if you'd like us to start discussion about easing into some outreach so that people can have a chance to learn.
Well, that's a good question, though. What's involved in the outreach?
On your part, really nothing. We just go out and educate residents about the program. You know, we just want to make sure that people are educated about it before they get that letter.
Right, I mean, you go door to door?
No, it's usually information sessions,
Okay.
tabling at community events,
Okay.
email blasts, newsletters. You know, for Ardsley, I went to the library and I went to Village Hall. You know, putting handouts out, putting something on the village website that links to Westchester Powers frequently asked questions, things like that, but it's flexible.
And you have a model enabling law that the other communities have used? You can get that to us.
We can definitely do that.
So I've just been informed that your name is Jasmine. And I've been calling you Stephanie. I apologize. I thought you had said Stephanie, so forgive me.
I can see myself as a step.
Very good, very good. That was very
Great
good.
answer.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Dan, for
Charlie,
coming
we have to
tonight
say
and
yes.
being.
We have to say yes or no to that, or?
Okay. We have next the presentation of the Eagle Awards by the Energy Task Force. Nina, you wanna, I think we'll have to move the mic up a little bit, so. Jennifer, do we have to move it up so we're on camera?
Yes, you can move that.
That was your job.
Stephanie? Liz? Jasmine?
And you sent me a text that I have to look at something.
Yeah, she did a good job of responding to it.
So, my wonderful colleagues on the Sustainability Task Force are coming up for this important award. You should know it's such a fabulous team of people who does this work here in the village. Ron DeRusso, Anila Cherian, Patty Steinschneider, Patty Dean, Elisa Fastman, Susan DeGeorge, who isn't here today, Ron Barron, Denise Wooden, Casey Lee, student at Master's School, Kathy Bobenhausen, very importantly. So this is the third time that we're issuing these Eagle Awards for environmental excellence in conjunction with the mayor and the board of trustees. And in the monthly meetings that we have with the Sustainability Task Force, we often talk about how lucky we are to live in a community where there is so much engagement on the part of community members, whether it's in the schools or in our local businesses, people involved in civic organizations or elsewhere in the community. There's so many folks doing important work that enriches our lives and improves our environment. So back in 2012, we decided to create this Eagle Award for environmental excellence to honor some of the people who are really at the forefront of doing that kind of work in Duxbury. And so we're really pleased to be doing that for the third time. We do select people from various aspects of village life, and we have 4 fabulous individuals who really demonstrate how much can be accomplished by people who are committed to doing this work and connected to the community. So we're really thrilled to be honoring these folks. So I'm going to just say a word about the honorees, and then Mayor McLaughlin will read, they're in the correct order, will read what's in these beautiful certificates that we're so grateful to Village Clerk Liz Draper for preparing for us to create these.
Good.
your delicious food and who have benefited from the wonderful warm feeling that you have in your restaurant. There have been so many meetings that have taken place, and you're probably back for a lot of work that has been done there. But what a lot of people don't know is that Harper's has also taken really significant steps to lighten its environmental footprint and to support local agriculture through your business. So Mayor McLaughlin, if you want to read what's on the certificate, that outlines some of what the restaurant has done.
Thank you. So on behalf of the Village Board of Trustees and the Sustainability Task Force, with grateful recognition of the sustainability initiatives taken at Harper's Restaurant, composting and reducing food waste, sourcing ingredients from local farms, cultivating a vegetable garden, and using recyclable takeout containers. Your efforts at Harper's demonstrate that sustainable practices can be beneficial for our environment, our community, and your business. Thank you.
So, I do, because I think this is important, and I'm glad that people are talking about this, but the thing that is left out of sustainability is that it's beneficial for the environment, like the mayor mentioned, but it's also profitable for us. So, I now have all of my employees segregating their kitchen scraps, and they're going into a special bin. And I'm personally taking them to a pile and cycling through the compost process. And they all know that I'm looking at the garbage. So they're really careful about it. And like, I say that and it's hilarious, but it's true. And we've seen a reduction in our food costs since we've been doing it. So sustainability is a word that gets tossed around a lot, but if it's not also profitable for us, it's not sustainable. Like I'll take it on the chin financially here and there for the good of the environment. It's true, but for these programs to truly work, they have to put money into my pocket, and that's just the reality of it. And it makes it easier and it makes it more sustainable. Well, we just put our first batch of compost on our vegetable garden.
So, next up, we're honoring Barbara Miglio, the coordinator of the outdoor classroom at Springhurst, and Sarah Salitti, the PTSA chair of the outdoor classroom, so if you can both come forward. So Sarah and Barbara have been major forces within Springhurst and now throughout the Dobbs Ferry School District. As Sarah has moved into the high school and the middle school with her work on improving recycling. They've accomplished something really unique in Westchester County in that they've established a successful composting program for food scraps in Springhurst School and managed it in a remarkable fashion. And as part of that, you have also been contributing food that otherwise would go to waste to the Dobbs Ferry food pantry, which is amazing, and doing so much to educate kids in Dobbs Ferry about sustainability and where food comes from and natural cycles of life, and it's a remarkable thing. So we're grateful to you beyond measure. You've accomplished something that a lot of people, frankly, might not have believed could be accomplished. It's really remarkable. And Mayor McLaughlin has received this.
Barbara and Sarah. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the Sustainability Task Force, with grateful recognition of your work at Springhurst Elementary, cultivating an outdoor garden, classroom, coordinating annual soup and salad days, launching a groundbreaking composting system, establishing a donation system to reduce food waste, and contributing to the village food pantry. We as a village are gratefully recognize your efforts at improving the recycling system in our school district and in teaching our children to become good stewards of our environment. Sarah, you introduced me to this and dragged me over it one day in the fall.
You came to one of the first meetings.
Yeah, so I
You
got
weren't
an
mayor
education.
yet.
I wasn't mayor yet. Our former mayor was mayor at the time, and so I got an education. So congratulations and thanks.
So the next award, and the last award, goes to Mayor Hartley Connect, who was mayor here in the village from 2009 to last year, 2017. And Hartley became mayor just as the Sustainability Task Force was beginning to get going. Excuse me, Hartley, come on up. And I don't think any of us could imagine what we would actually accomplish together during your years as mayor and our years on the Energy Task Force. But your consistency, the rigor that you brought in the analysis regarding anything that we proposed to you made it really, made our jobs much simpler, because we knew what the metric was, and we could bring you something that would give a certain level of benefit or return, that you would be a wholehearted supporter of what we were proposing. So during your time as mayor, we installed solar installations on 2 municipal facilities, did energy upgrades in the library, in Village Hall, in the community center. Dobbs Ferry was the first municipality to install LED streetlights anywhere in the region. And the village achieved the highest level of climate smart community certification, was designated a clean energy community, one of the very first in New York State, and that's quite a record. So I feel very lucky to have been able to partner with you in that work, but your leadership was really quite remarkable. So I want to thank you, and the mayor is going to read what's on your.
How weird.
Well, Mayor Kinnett, in representing the Village Board of Trustees and the Sustainability Task Force, with grateful recognition of your support and investment in clean energy initiatives within the village of Dobbs Ferry while mayor from 2009 to 2017. Your understanding that environmental sustainability is good business resulted in cost savings and operational improvements while establishing the village as a recognized leader in sustainability in New York State. Dobbs Ferry was designated a New York State Clean Energy Community and achieved the highest designation in the Climate Smart Communities program during your tenure. And I believe we were bronze or
They've now upgraded us to silver, and it's the highest.
congratulations. And I was always interested in the economics of things, but you had some foresight in all of this, and working with you, not only did we save money, but we did something great for the environment, and you led it.
I just want to thank you so much. I'm honored, and I'm honored to receive this with the other recipients who, and seeing younger kids here. And listen, none of this happens without this group of people here. We did coin the phrase, as Harper's Restaurant said, what's good for the environment can be good for business. And that's what we coined in Dobbs Ferry. And I remember as a new mayor in 2009, 2010, we had our first energy symposium, which you guys organized at Master School. It was unbelievable. And I know there were a lot of skeptics, and I wasn't quite sure how we were all going to work it out. But Nina and I really did work on the economic part of it. And because of that, we were able to leverage up on the initiatives and the projects and create and complete much more meaningful projects that mean much more things to taxpayers. So thank you so very much for what you've done. I'm honored to receive this, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Board of Trustees, for supporting the great work these people are doing. It's really good stuff. Thank you.
What we'd like to do is get some pictures up here, maybe the board can stand behind us, and we'll get everybody up here to take a picture. You all down with that?
I never see these pictures.
Can we get the
Well, touch your camera out there. Someone take the picture.
No, I just
Take a
imagine.
pic.
I'm gonna ask Felicity. It's actually pretty easy. Hard part's dropping it off. I love that. Do you do that? Do you do combos?
Get in there, Ron.
You're deputy mayor. You should do the same
I can't fly. No, I'll just put it
Let's get, can we get everyone
There's a tough photo lens on here.
Great. Thank you all.
Yeah, just composted yesterday for them. Girl Scouts.
Mr. Mayor, how are you? Good to see you.
Congratulations. Once every 2 weeks, I have a small countertop one, and then I have a bigger one in the back. I leave it on my porch, and it's closed, and it's for bags, so you can buy bags. Well deserved. Well deserved. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm not gonna change much about what I'm doing, but you guys definitely, yeah.
Harley, I'm gonna text you the pictures that I took. Take care, good seeing you.
You guys can wear t-shirts. You still look handsome.
Glad you voted with me.
I can make them.
I'm like my friend.
Okay,
She voting, not voting.
I was writing my notes.
so we're gonna have a presentation by Rivertown Cruises on a proposed pilot program.
I think you went
So
outside.
Dina and Dwayne,
Evan D'Agostino, who's our representative, will be doing the presentation.
oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, I wanna go.
Yeah, I think so.
Where's this? Why did I get this?
Yeah.
Why don't we, we're gonna go with courtesy of the floor. So if anybody would like to address the board on any other topic, you're welcome. Sir, come on up. Just state your name and your address.
You got a heavy agenda, so let's be very quick. Thank you very much for your newsletters. They're great. I have one right here. Village of Dobbs Ferry leaf blower law. Gas-powered leaf blowers may not be used at any time from May 2nd, September 14th, and December 16th to March 14th. Any person violating the leaf blower law shall be guilty of a punishment, $50 fine for the first one and $250 for each one after. Do these rules apply to contractors doing yard work?
Yes.
I know they don't. How come they're out there right now?
You set me up here.
How come they're out there still using the leaf blowers? In fact, when I came home today from upstate New York, I got a guy in the back of me using a leaf blower.
Yeah.
Is a permit required for these people to be working in the village of Dumpster?
No, no, there isn't.
I'm not,
No.
there isn't.
No.
Maybe we
No.
should have one. I'm really tired of picking up after these people, having my lawn, and Donna knows how well I keep everything around. To redo everything again after somebody's been doing their work in the neighborhood. It's not worth calling up. My wife wanted to go out there the other day and yell out. I says, why? Why call the police? There's no summons ever issued. And even when it gets to court, it's thrown out. We need to enforce this law. And the only way to do it, to stop these people, is through money. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the board? Yes, ma'am. Just state your name and address.
Leslie Walter, tonight I'm with Zion Episcopal Church. We wrote a letter to the board talking about the state of the hill on the parking lot just north of here. Most of that hill is state property, but the village oversees it. We are on top of that hill as the church. We would like to clean up part of it. Most of it is not our property, but we would like to clean it up. We're wondering whether the board has considered the letter and if you're going to go ahead and clean it up with our help. A letter was sent about 2 weeks ago.
Shelley?
I did not get it.
We'll take a look at it.
Thanks.
Did you send it to my office, or?
I think we sent to Elizabeth Draper, but I'm not sure who it was addressed.
Okay, we'll look and we will address the issue.
Okay, the other hat I wear is with the Friends of the Old Croton Aqueduct, and I know for sure, in the next 2 years, there will be a lot more people walking down the aqueduct, down to New York City or to a Metro North station because of the opening of
Yeah.
Tappan Zee, and a lot of publicity coming from tourism from lower New York.
Right.
It behooves the village to think about the state.
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing that to our attention. We want to keep the downtown clean, obviously, and we're doing our best to do that, so I'll ask.
Well, the aqueduct's a state park as far as I know.
No, but you're talking about the property next to it too, right?
It's state park property, but it's been leased to the village for $1 a year, and that includes the hill.
Is it possible if you could just resend the letter that you sent, just so that we can actually see it, but send it this time
I'll forward it to you guys, I just found it.
You found it,
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
We need to address it. Thank you.
Thanks. Patty?
Patty Steinschneider, a member of the Broadway Corridor Coalition, which follows perfectly on what this young lady just presented to you. We have made some progress. We received the draft of the drawings of the proposals from our consultant Nelson Nygaard last week. We are busy reviewing those. We have 2 weeks within which to give them our comments and suggestions, which Donna and Rob and I know Charlene's paid close attention to it, so it's our intention to get that done, and hopefully we'll be seeing some real progress from this soon, and we have a lot of hopeful things that will happen in Dobbsbury.
Great, thanks, Patty.
Thanks.
Anyone else like to address the board? Make a comment? No? All right, bless you, thank you. We'll have the presentation now. Dina, Dwayne, do you want to come up? Evan.
Thank you.
Well, this is on the proposal on the Rivertown Cruises pilot program. Thank you.
We have before you a presentation where we'd like to utilize the riverfront of Dobbs Ferry. Over about 2 years ago, these docks were put into place, and in our opinion, these docks aren't utilized for the town's gain or any monetary for the town. So we have before you a proposal that would bring people into the park and also be able to monetize for the town. So here's a picture of one of the vessels that we'd like to utilize. I believe you have another picture in front of you of another vessel that we'd like to take on tours, historical tours, up and down the Hudson River.
That has that historical look to it, the second picture.
Yeah.
It looks a little old, this vessel.
That's actually, if you look at it, that's actually a prior ferry that went up and down the Hudson River in Peekskill and Dobbs Ferry. And,
Is that the actual one? Really?
That's the actual one, correct.
The Spirit of Jefferson?
No.
This one. The
Or the other one? Oh,
The older picture.
Yeah. So we would really like to, as you can see right here, we'd like to offer weekend cruising, sightseeing cruises. We'd also like to offer private cruises, and for the larger vessel, we'd like to do poly cruises. So we'd really like to bring the historical back to Dobbs Ferry and offer cruises, like I said, from the private and for the public. Here is just, again, it's a pilot program, so it's just a projected number that we would do this year based on the smaller vessel. The larger vessel, obviously, will bring more people, will bring higher revenue for the town. And as a comparative for the numbers that you saw on the prior screen, for a vessel ranging in this size, for the amount of money the town would be saving with us taking the docks in and out, the town in itself, for the $5,000 a season that originally would be for a vessel this size, it's actually a win-win situation for both.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but could you tell us how many passengers you would expect on that?
On this vessel right here, we'd expect 20 to 30 passengers. On the larger vessel, you can expect 200.
So what's your plan? You pick up people at various points, or maybe in Manhattan, then bring them up and down the Hudson, and then drop them off at Dobbs Ferry?
For the smaller vessel, for our plan would be to be picking the passengers up at Dobbs Ferry. So we would take them on, depending on the length of the tour, whether it be, at night, how many hours, it's usually about 3 hours. So we would take them wherever they'd like to go. If they'd like to go up to West Point or down as far as Manhattan, it would be dependent. Like, that would depend on the private sector. The more public sector, if we brought on, say, the larger vessel with, say, up to 200 people, we would be able to, accommodate going all the way down to Manhattan, showing the sites, bringing the historical sites, and so forth.
And you supply food on this boat?
Currently, we would not be supplying food. We would be supplying snacks. People will bring their own beverages. Like I said, as this is going to be a pilot program, everybody will supply their own. We will just be supplying the knowledge and obviously the vessel. Also, as part of the pilot program, we would like to offer a donated charter to the town, whether it be for a fundraising. As you can see on our larger vessel, we can accommodate up to 200 people. So for a fundraising event like that, we believe it would be very beneficial to the town.
Great.
This is just pictures of the Pelican vessel. That's our smaller vessel that was spacious for around 30 people. It has a certificate of occupancy for 50. So it's rated for 50, but for ideal of comfort, we recommend approximately 30. So this is it. This is it currently. This is it docked at the new pier. So, in closing, this is one of the 2 boats that we'd like to use at the new pier. Now, at the pier right now, I know the town isn't utilizing it, and we would like to utilize it for both the public, the private, and a benefit for the town.
Where would you dock both boats, at the pier?
They would interchange. So depending on demand, we would interchange each boat.
Will that big boat fit there, was the draft?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes.
What is that, 70 feet? Big?
This boat right here is 62, the other one is 78.
78, okay.
Another question I have is, those docks, as you know, kind of move.
Yeah.
What kind of safety precautions are you going to have to protect the sides and people?
Well, actually, the docks and the pilings themselves are structurally engineered for actually a vessel much greater than that size.
No, I'm talking about people exiting after maybe
Getting
a
off the
party,
cruise.
getting off the cruise and walking on the dock. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah, getting
The
on and off,
walkways,
you know, there'll
because
be
they're not
safe-
protected, yeah.
Well, there will be, I'm sorry, there will be safety rails.
Okay.
Going up, absolutely.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure.
And everything will be handicap accessible, you know,
So I'm assuming you have all the proper insurance and
yes.
certificates and safety with the Coast Guard, et cetera? Okay.
What about the parking? If you're suggesting 200 people or so,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of cars to come into. the
Yeah,
park.
I mean, great that the location, you know, is on train tracks. I mean, we do anticipate a large amount of, you know, people coming, but if we're gonna do, say, a private charter, we anticipate a certain amount of people coming with cars, and we anticipate a certain amount of people coming on, say, like a bus or, you know, some sort of mass transportation.
And you're anticipating that why? Like, why wouldn't 50 people just get into a car?
Understandable that people understand that the parking is an issue at and there would also be on off hours, like the weekends or at night. So it wouldn't be during the prime time where commuters will be parking.
So it's a charter type of thing, it's not where you're selling it per ticket.
I'm sorry, what?
So someone's gonna come in and book the cruise, or are you doing it per ticket?
It's gonna be, on both. It's gonna be on a basis as per ticket, and it's also gonna be on a charter for the vessel.
Okay.
So if you would like to take out, say, you know, your wife and your kids and your family on a vessel like that, you can book the whole boat.
Right.
Or if you'd like to buy a ticket on a Saturday evening to go on the larger vessel, it'll be you and amongst many other tourists that would be
Right.
also.
So you'll run it online and like sell tickets online for
Absolutely.
specific, you know,
And we'll have specific
dates.
events.
Right. Mhm.
Would there be like same-day ticket sales? Like, will we know in advance how many people are gonna be needing parking, is what?
Yes, we will, yeah, absolutely, we'll know in advance.
Okay.
Yes. Especially when we have certain events, you know, say, for, you know, example.
So you're not selling the day of, people
No,
can't just
no, we'll be
walk up?
selling-
right?
No, no.
So during the pilot, we're talking about 6, 4?
Yes, we're talking
Cruises?
6 cruises, correct.
Okay.
Unless there is demand and then,
We anticipate a greater demand,
right.
but we will, you know, we'll address that. Those were just, you know, forecasts. We haven't done any marketing, any advertising, so we're
That's-
waiting.
Yeah, so that's 6 cruises on with the smaller boat
Correct.
for 2018.
Correct.
And you're saying
Which-
in the future.
Right, but the smaller boat strikes me as much more manageable in terms of dealing with the onshore logistics of how you get people on and off. And what times would you anticipate doing this? I mean, of the 6, how many would be on, say, a weeknight?
Well, I mean, that would be, it depends if we're doing the private or the public sector. The private is completely gonna be up to the person who would like to book the event. So, I mean, mainly, they're going to be on evenings and on weekends. So I would say, on, like, the public sector, again, that is gonna be on evenings and weekends as well.
Right, there's just a big difference with the transition in that parking lot between 5 o'clock in the evening and
Yeah.
7 o'clock in the evening, which is the time frame when most commuters are arriving back. And 5 o'clock, you could have significant difficulty finding parking, or at least
Even at
parking at
6,
that
yeah.
end.
Trustee Taylor, that was never contemplated in our discussions, having weeknight cruises.
Oh.
It really was just sort of a weekend proposal, in my estimation.
No, I think we talked about.
And then,
Sunset,
Sunset Cruise, Sunset Cruises.
yeah, but that was in the prior one, the prior. And then our current one, you said, no, you're gonna make it no public.
Well, because we were having an issue.
Oh, you need the microphone.
Sure, okay, sorry.
I'm just sorry, it's just, it's different from what we had envisioned.
Sure, but I think it's hard for us to gauge exactly how we're going to use both votes because we haven't done any marketing or advertising. The little that I've done, we live in Duxbury, telling friends, posting things at the gym, I probably get 2 emails a week. And this has been all year. I've been asked to do a Juvenile Diabetes Foundation fundraiser. I couldn't give them any answers. We did 4 or 5 private charters last year out of different marinas. Because originally we had the boat here, then we had to move it, we had it at another marina. So we made arrangements with local marinas on the Hudson to pay them a fee to have guests park there and to pick up and drop off. So it's hard to gauge what times we're gonna do it, when we're gonna do it, and that's why it's a pilot program. But if the boat is there, which we were, understanding that the boat would be able to be there, and that's part of the agreement with taking the docks in and out for no charge, and in case there's an emergency haul with the weather, you wouldn't be charged. Also getting a percent of the private charters, whether they're on the small boat or the large boat, and then also donating the boat for a fundraising event. So we thought that was all for us being able to have the boat there and kind of figure out what's gonna work for everyone, so everyone can get on it. And if we see that there's, families that want us to go for lunch for an hour or 2, then it can go out for an hour or 2.
But you're saying there are going to be 6 cruises. Is that private cruises? Is that
Yeah,
both boats?
that's
Is
what
that
we're
total of
estimating.
6?
We're just that's what we're thinking.
Including the
would be-
lunchtime stuff?
No, that's what we're just thinking is the private.
Oh, so there may be public
We're not addressing
cruises.
the public in this proposal because we haven't advertised.
Okay, so we're not doing the public this year,
I don't
okay.
really know what we're gonna do with that because it's, it's kind
Yeah.
of the middle of May
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
late in
late,
the
yeah.
season, so I don't know what we're gonna do, but we already have 1 or 2 booked for this season. We donated one to the foundation, to the gala, and it went for $6,000. And we put in it that they would be picked up along the Hudson. We didn't say where. So, I get a lot of phone calls, there's a lot of need, and, when the people book the charters, the boat is bare. We provide ice and staff.
Right.
So they're getting food from somewhere, and liquor, and they're not, usually you don't bring it from where you are, you stop at Stop and Shop, or you go to Harper's, or you go to Sam's, or you get
Local
pizza from
restaurants.
San Gennaro, it's local,
social.
and the train is there, and, it's just, I think it's a wonderful opportunity. There's nothing like this in the river towns.
I like this idea a lot, but I do think that we need to be careful about how the onshore piece of this would work. And, I'm just trying to picture in my mind's eye, and I'm not suggesting that you're proposing this, but if 100 cars who had no idea how to navigate that parking lot came down right as a train was arriving with a bunch of commuters and the lot was mostly full, you'd have a logistical mess in terms
Well,
of.
I think if we knew that we were gonna use the large boat for an event, we wouldn't schedule it at a time where that would be a
Right.
conflict.
Right.
We
Well,
have that flexibility, and we haven't advertised anything yet, we haven't set anything yet. I know that the village was concerned about people getting in late, like not past 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock.
Right, because of the noise.
Which
Because
would
it'd
be fine, because we can be flexible.
Right, right.
And I think they were gonna open up some parking spots, because originally the concern was in the train station, you could only park there with a permit, if you were a train commuter, or a resident. So that puts people out who are coming from Yonkers, or Irvington, or Riverdale, or you have to stop at the police station and pay $10 for a parking pass, which, to me, that, when we sat down at first, that wasn't very appealing. Like, I wouldn't want to be going on a cruise with my cooler and having to stop and, with my dinner and stop and get a parking pass pay an additional $10 and then go for the cruise.
Dina, that would be necessary if you do it after, during the week, because during the week, there's no free parking.
Yes, I totally understand that, but not weeknights.
Weeknights, yes.
Oh, I thought it was just for.
No, the free parking was,
4 hours.
was 4 hours and on weekends. That's it. And that's what we discussed, because,
And there's limited amount of spaces.
and limited amount of spaces.
I thought, yeah, there was up to 50.
Yeah.
around.
They're 50, but I don't think they're gonna be placed in a place that's convenient for where your docks are.
But I mean, it's still in the park. It's
Right.
not, you don't have to walk up and down.
Yeah.
the hill.
Yeah.
But Dana, could you elaborate a little bit about the alcohol consumption? You just mentioned a cooler. I'm just thinking people are going to park their car, go on the boat, drink, and then come back and get in their car.
Well, I mean, we're not gonna really advertise it as a party boat. It's more of like a historical sightseeing family event. You know, right now, we don't have a liquor license, so we wouldn't have a bartender who would be monitoring it, but we would have insurance to cover it, and we'd have to have staff trained to watch people. I mean, staff.
Actually, we discussed that, and if there are incidences, whether it be one or two, then the agreement would be terminable at will.
So what we're
But we
talking
can
about
get
right
a
now,
little bit to the bars that are there.
Right,
That's
that's-
already there. I mean, how do you control someone who leaves
I-
Half Moon or Hudson Social and then drives? I mean, it's hard to like gauge that.
but tonight we're
you
just
know,
listening to this, and
Yeah.
then
We're not making any decisions.
we're not making
So,
decisions.
I mean, it's a
Because we
pilot
still need to see
program.
what the
Think about it.
proposal
We'll
is,
feel
right?
things out and see how it goes, and we can adjust as we go along.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think we just need to keep a close eye on it.
And
Adjust
if
it.
We don't need
this
to-
is gonna work, I think my opinion would be that the idea of, that you're suggesting, starting with the smaller vessel, seeing how it works, getting a handle on the logistics. I mean, maybe it doesn't work for the village, maybe it doesn't work for you, but if it works, that'll help us figure out whether or not a 200, and give the village, I think, confidence that if that a much bigger vessel works, that, we could do that. I also think we need to be careful it doesn't block out the public access of the dock, which it doesn't look like it would, but I want to think about
That
it.
boat was docked there we had it
Yeah.
there for a couple days consecutively, and then we'd come on a Saturday for 4 hours or Sunday, and it didn't inhibit any boats. If anything, we were helping boats get in time lines while they were going to Half Moon and Hudson
Right.
Shore.
I mean, I really like the idea of doing this. I mean, as a board, to be known as bringing the ferry back to Dobbs would be a good thing. Also, I think we get some revenue out of it, and that'll be helpful. We provide a avenue for people to recognize Dobbs as a place to go for restaurants and, enjoyment and the waterfront. We just have to keep a close eye on some of the things that we're concerned about moving forward during the pilot. But I think it could be great for the village.
Just one thing, Charlene, we don't have to put this out for bid why is that?
Because it's a pilot program. And if we don't know what we want, and just as Trustee Taylor said, this is something that we're exploring, see if it works, then if we're going to do it again, we'll put it out to bid again.
Okay.
At that point.
I just want to be clear on what you're asking for. You're asking for a pilot program for this one white boat in the picture, or you're asking for a pilot program for both boats?
To interchange,
Okay, so you're
For
going
the
to be
bigger
using,
boat.
your idea would be use both boats this summer?
yeah, to
But they-
try it out, to see how it works, to see, once we actually do start advertising, see how much feedback we get. Because the smaller boat is a beautiful boat, but if it's not a great day, the upstairs is beautiful, but, I mean, you don't want to be inside and you don't want to be sitting like this, we want people to be comfortable.
Right?
And is your
And there would
intent,
be one boat there at a time, right?
Yes.
Just to make a point, like Fourth of July, it would be nice to have the big boat down there, the nostalgia, and everybody get on,
Yeah.
miles ahead, and take everybody out and see the fireworks. and you could take a couple trips in a day and serve the whole town,
Right,
you know?
right,
So that would be like one day, I mean,
good.
Well, that's
Can
the
you-
key.
Can
that's
you
what the
send
waterfront-
this PowerPoint to us? Because we don't have a copy of that.
Sure.
Thanks.
Good. All right, well, listen, thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate you taking the time to visit with us. And I'm excited about it, and we'll take a look and go forward. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Okay, matters requiring action. Consider a motion to approve ordinance number 1 and number 2 for May 2018 as recommended by the village treasurer. Jeff, did you have any comments?
Yeah, no additional comments.
No comments. Good. Motion? Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Rosillo, all in favor? Unanimous? Consider a resolution approving the tax warrant for the 2018 tax year. Motion? Trustee Nell, second. Trustee Rosillo, all in favor? Unanimous? Consider a motion authorizing the acceptance of a monetary donation from Mr. and Mrs. George T. Kahn in support of the Village of Dobbs Ferry Police Department in the amount of $1,000. Mr. Kahn, by the way, was a member of our zoning board at one point. So, do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee Taylor, all in favor? Unanimous. I want to thank the Kahns for that donation. That's very generous of them.
Yes, thank you.
Very good. Consider a motion to award the bid for 2018 joint road paving to the lowest responsible bidder, PCI Industries Corporation, for a total of $1,043,535. The amount that Dobbs Ferry would be responsible for is $80,900. Do I have a motion? Do you want to make a comment, Shelley?
No, it's just
Okay.
the 80,000. It looks like a big number, but it's not, we're not responsible for it. We're only responsible for that portion of Dobbs Ferry, which is really our CHIPS money of
Right.
80,000.
So we do something we do every year.
Every year.
Okay. Although, that, it's not going to really do as much as we'd really like, right?
Of course not.
Yeah.
But it is a shared service. It
Okay.
is a shared service.
Great. Do I have a motion? Trustee Nell, second. Deputy Mayor Cassell, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to authorize Police Chief Manuel Guevara to sign a renewal of the communications service agreement with Goosetown Communications for a rate of $1,309 per month. Although the name is misleading, it is the communication system that's used within the police department. So do I have a motion? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Taylor, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to authorize the fire chief to sell a 1981 Mack engine to the Terryville Fire Department for the amount of $5,000. Do I have a motion? Trustee DeRossi, second. Deputy Mayor Cassell, all in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Where is Terryville? Long Island.
Really? What are they gonna do with it?
They were actually the original owners of that truck.
Is that right?
Wow. Just nostalgic?
This was a nostalgia buy?
I've been searching for this thing for a while.
Well, you did very good, getting 5,000, thank you. Consider a resolution authorizing the Village of Dobbs Ferry to enter into an agreement with the County of Westchester for the purpose of undertaking a community development program. Westchester County CDBG Consortium. Did you want to explain that?
Sure. The CDBG funds are from the federal government. As a consortium, the villages and, other than the cities, Westchester gets together and the county offers this, a consortium to get monies from these grants. It is very beneficial to us because as a locality, we do not have any of the census tracts which meet the requirements and the criteria of CDBG funds. In the aggregate, hopefully, if the consortium is formed and enough people join it, we will be able to get those funds, or at least apply for those funds. So it is a good thing that the consortium's getting back together after, I think it's been almost 10 years that it has been defunct.
Okay.
I know, I was there.
Do I have a motion? Trustee Sullivan, second. Deputy Mayor Cassell, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a resolution for the designation of Westchester County to administer the provision of the affordable housing article in Dobbs Ferry's zoning code. Motion?
Do you want an explanation?
You want to make a comment?
Yeah, do you want an explanation?
Yes, please.
Westchester County is back, that's the explanation. And they have agreed to monitor our affordable housing. And so we have to designate it and delegate that power that you have as a board to the county in order to make sure that those affordable housing units are kept that way.
Thank you.
Does it cost us any money?
None.
And we don't, and we don't turn over any of the power to them.
No power.
Nothing but.
That's always good.
That's always good.
Yeah. Do I have a motion? Trustee Sullivan, second. Deputy Mayor Cassell, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a resolution declaring June 2nd, 2018 as Gun Violence Awareness Day in the village of Dobbs Ferry. I had received this from Wear Orange group that they started this when the young child, who was a 15-year-old in Chicago, was killed accidentally by a gang shooting. Her name was Pendleton. So they started this in recognition of her, and I personally feel very strongly about it, and I think it would be good for the village to endorse this. So do I have a motion? Trustee DeRossi, second. Trustee Nell, all in favor? Unanimous. That's June 2nd, by the way. That's the day for this recognition. Consider a motion to authorize the village administrator to sign an agreement with Westchester Greenhouses to manage the 2018 Farmers Market. Do we need an explanation? I think we're all familiar with this.
It's the same farmer's market.
Same
as-
contract.
And
Yes,
for
it
just
is.
this summer?
Hmm?
And it's this summer?
Yes, I am very cognizant of the fact that the board would like to explore different programs
In the future.
in the future.
Okay.
And this is, I'm just reading this in terms of insurance and anything else that's required, we're named and anything
Yes.
else we need to do? Okay.
Liz makes sure of that.
Thank you, Liz.
Thanks, Liz.
Okay, do I have a motion? Trustee Nell, second. Deputy Mayor Cassell, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to approve a request from the PTSA Safe Routes Group to school committee to place signage to increase awareness about pedestrian safety on various village locations. I'm sure many of you have seen the two, almost like a school bus colored sign with black lettering that sort of helps get the message out there that we want to get out to slow down Dobbs and, you know, be aware of the safety of pedestrians and so forth on the streets. So do I have a motion?
I actually have an observation and a question. One is just to make the announcement, the reason the board needs to approve this is the fact that it is, there are significant limits on putting up signs on even one's own property as they can affect others in the neighborhood. I mean, I wholeheartedly support this cause and vote on it. But people should just know that you should ask first And the second.
It's not my normal way of doing things, but in the future we'll do that.
And the second thing is, I have people asking me where they can get these signs. So if one of you wants to come up and just announce that, if there are folks who are watching who are interested in being able to obtain signs themselves, that would probably be.
Matt, I could tell them where I got my signs.
You busted me on the street.
I stopped them on the street.
You made me open my police stuff. So we are almost out of signs, but in a couple of weeks, the PTSA is voting to give us a substantial increase in our budget. Among the uses that we intend to put that budget to is getting more. It's been an incredibly popular program, as you know. There are some areas where you see quite a lot of signs that are being very well placed by residents in areas that are of specific concern to local people that no one group could ever say, like, this is where the signs need to be. So people have really embraced the opportunity to mark dangerous parts of the road. So we are intending to make more, and perhaps with a couple of different messages. Now that we think we've probably gotten a lot of the no sidewalk streets, and there are a couple of other messages that we're thinking of doing as well.
What other messages are you considering?
Well, we haven't gone through the committee yet, but, you know, there are areas where, you know, we think that there are, you know, insufficient stop signs. We'll be coming to talk to you about that at some future date. And so, you know, things like be prepared to stop ahead, those sorts of things. I mean, there's nothing that should provoke any controversy.
The only one concern put out is that if these are all over, but will they become ineffectual over a while, because everybody's seen, oh, there's another yellow sign?
Well, it's a great question. I think, though,
So
that.
maybe you can
I mean,
alternate them or
constant
something,
reminders
because
of,
interesting.
even if you're not reading the message, there's always a yellow sign, you know, is potentially just a reminder of the thing that you've already read. Oh, yeah, 30 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, 20 in the new school zone. That'll help people remember.
And then, what's the date that you're anticipating taking them down and replacing them with new ones or whatever? That was the only other thing, was that,
Yeah.
you know, when we put up our signs, when we were running for office, you had to make sure you took them back down. So that they
Well,
were-
we're assuming that it'll be somewhere around the end of the school
Right,
year.
okay.
But it's also, you know, there are some people who feel very strongly about it, and I'm not gonna wrestle them off anybody's lawn.
No, but I'm just making sure that in
Yeah.
terms of like having things fly anywhere during a storm, or, you know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
getting it out of hand. That's all.
Absolutely.
Great, thanks, Matt.
Thank you all.
I just wanted to dovetail on what Larry said about the, you know, prior property, because I learned a little bit more about our code during this process too, because the village right away is 7 to 10 feet from the curb in, even though it might be your private property too, just so people are aware.
Right, yeah, I mean, there is, of course, and when we come back and ask for permission for more, we can probably address this in greater detail, but it is, you know, one of the things about these signs is it's kind of important that they be able to be seen from the road without.
Oh, yeah, I don't
attracting
disagree.
attention, so.
I just think, you know, even for my own house, I know I had talked to you about it, and I was like, oh, it's my property, but it's still a village right away, and think about it, so it's just making people aware of what's going on, that's all.
Great, thanks, Matt.
In
Thanks, Ron.
truth, even on your own property, you need a.
I know,
permit.
Larry said that, that's why I was dovetailing on what he
Right,
said
okay.
about the village right away, just to educate the public.
Okay,
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Approve it still though, right?
do we have a motion? Trustee Nell, second. Trustee Taylor, all in favor? Unanimous? Consider a motion to approve a request from Miss Michelle Voda to have a block party May 28th, 2018, from 4:30 PM to 8 PM on Palisade Avenue. I think I know where I'm gonna be on.
I think Christie needs to recuse herself.
I think I know where I'm gonna be due. That's where I live.
So do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Cassell, second.
I can't.
She can't.
Oh, Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous.
You guys are all welcome to come.
Okay, well,
Thank you, Trustee. Okay, minutes for April 20th and 25th.
One more agenda. item. It's in the amended agenda there,
Oh.
from the 13th.
Consider a motion to approve a request from Ms. Lisa Brady, Superintendent of Schools, to place a banner for the school budget vote at Cedar and Main Streets. Ah, yes. Motion?
Yeah, just one comment. For people who haven't looked, the school budget is out, and it was emailed to those who are on the list, but also, and that's a public list that anyone can get on, but it's also available, I believe, on the Dobbs Ferry School's website. So any residents who are interested in seeing that budget may get a chance to look at it before voting, obviously.
Thank you.
And I'll make a motion to allow us-
Trustee Taylor, motion, second. Trustee Rosillo, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay, minutes for April 20th, 2018, April 24th, 2018. Wait. That doesn't look right. 20th, okay, yeah, 20. Is that the one? Yeah, I guess it, that was the executive, okay. Yeah, okay. You can have comments. Motion, trustee Nell. Second, trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Unanimous. Correspondence and claims, Liz? Anything? Nothing? Okay, reports and announcements, trustee Johnson. Do you have anything you'd like to report? Nothing? Trustee Nell?
Need volunteers for the nominating committee.
Wow.
I'm so shocked by that.
I know. Who wants to join and volunteer for their village? Please click volunteer now at dobbsferry.com.
And I think we had a little piece in the last newsletter.
Yeah, I did
Address that, that's fantastic. And thank you for the newsletter. Another wonderful.
Thank you, Mayor.
Trustee Sullivan,
Come back to me for a second.
come back to you.
Yeah.
Trustee Taylor?
I don't have anything this.
Thank you, Trustee.
I don't have anything.
Ready.
I just want to say that on Saturday, we had the River Keepers cleanup, partially sponsored by the Village Conservation Advisory Board. It was a really great day. A lot of people showed up. And thank you all for coming, and thank you, Jean Nicholson, for arranging it all.
There was a lot of
It
people.
was great.
And it was a nice day.
Yeah, we
I
got
think
great
that-
T-shirts.
And the T-shirts were fantastic. So remember that for next year. You get a great T-shirt, here you go. Trustee Sullivan, are you?
Yeah, so I wanted to make an announcement about Senior Week, but I had to get my facts in order. So it's starting the week of, next week, May 14th to May 18th. And once again, Abby and the senior committee have done an amazing job putting together a great calendar. I think we help with Kendra, the rec department. So they have exercise classes, lunches, live entertainment. They're going to an iPic movie, which has now been changed to Life of the Party with Melissa McCarthy. It's just out this week. And Half Moon has generously donated again for the lunch on Wednesday when they do their waterfront day. And so that's very much appreciated. And there is a wait list for that, but there's still time to sign up for all the other days and activities, which can be, a full calendar can be found on the website under the senior citizens. And they should thank you to the Firehouse and Pompey Church for also donating space to host some of the activities.
Yeah, there's a lot of great activities, so. it's,
Yeah, I mean, they have pictures and music with Joe Rooney one day, they have feeding, they have planting, the iPic, the Tai Chi, lots of other stuff.
The works and the Half Moon.
Yeah, they're very generous.
Very nice. I'd like to thank them. Thank you, Trustee Sullivan. We do have an announcement about the mobile shredder. Liz is going to be at the waterfront, May 10th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the waterfront park.
Is Metro North, have they left the area?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you, Ron.
We also have the library, Make a Dinner a Selfless Act by joining us for a fundraiser to support the Friends of the Dobbs Ferry Library. And they're having something at Chipotle, is it Chipotle?
Yes.
At 12 Lawrence Street in Dobbs Ferry, that's down at Rivertown Square, Saturday between 4 and 8. So if you bring this flyer, I guess 50% of the proceeds, pretty generous.
So where do you get the flyer?
Can you show it on your phone or print it out?
Where do I get it? On my phone?
The
I'll
Doxbury
send it to
Library.
you.
The library.
Oxford Library?
Yeah, everybody should sign up for the library newsletter, the same as they do the village and the,
Yeah.
they have adult and children
I'll let you
emails.
take a picture.
Free.
Right?
Okay, there's also a few other things, just a little in advance, but Memorial Day, we'll have the service, 5:28, I think normally it's at 10:30, they're just making the arrangements now, the details. We also have Women's Health Week next week and Mother's Day on the 13th, this Sunday, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in town, in the area. Our next board meeting is 5/22/18. And of course, the Ramadan religious holiday starts May 15th. We also have, it looks like Eric Pascal, who is Villanova championship basketball NCAA champion. Looks like we're going to have him on May 23rd, probably do something at the high school here and then up at Children's Village, so that'll be exciting also. So thank you all very much, and that closes the meeting. Adjourned.